dangerous bumps and sudden jolts on your safari adventure. To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good
Plexiglass between each line and the queue for the safari.
motion sickness or other conditions that could be aggravated by this adventure. Expectant mothers should not ride. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands, arms,
Just waiting for our
feet and
vehicle.
legs inside, and remember to watch your children. Your transport will be
And again, because I'm a party of one, I have a row to myself.
for your adventure at Kilimanjaro Safari. Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las manos
Hey Lisa, hey Chuck.
izquierdas dentro del vehículo. Y cuida sus niños. Gracias. Jumbo, everyone, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safari. Before you begin your trip, you should know that the unpaved roads of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve pass through rough.
Here comes our safari vehicle.
You may experience bumps and sudden jolts on your safari adventure. To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and away from high blood pressure.
And you can see they have the plastic between each row on the vehicles as well.
I'm gonna get over here on this end so I can get better pictures. Okay.
Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados y mantengan las
That's Dante Sonawarded, and as we say in Harambe, Twende, which means let's go. All right, well, Jumbo friends, my name is Megan. I'll be your guide to the Harambe Wildlife. Feel free to take as many pictures as you like. We are a photo safari. Just make sure that you are hanging on really tightly to those cameras and cell phones. The warden does not allow me to stop if anything falls out of the truck. But if something does fall out, please let me know. Also, and most importantly, please make sure we do stay fully and completely seated at all times, keeping all of our hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck. Now, this first area we are in is called the Little Itiri Forest. And immediately on our left up here at the top of the hill are some bongos. They're orange with stripes. They're known as the ghosts of the forest. It's because they are so very, very rarely seen. Not only are they primarily nocturnal animals, but they're also super duper shy and super reclusive animals as well. So you're pretty lucky to see them. On the right are two okapis and a saddle-billed stork. The saddle-billed stork is super close to the road right here. It's this black and white animal with a yellow saddle shape on its bill. They can stand about 5 feet tall. They can have a wingspan of around 9 feet across. And unlike most birds, they don't communicate through like a chirping or tweeting sound. They communicate by rattling their bills back and forth together. You can see the okapis better on this side. That's why we came over here, just so we could see them a little bit better. Now, many people believe that the okapis are related to zebras because they have those really fun striped legs. But the okapi is actually the only known relative of the giraffe. They have a prehensile tongue that allows them to lick their own eyes and ears, much like giraffes can. They even have a similar skull shape to a giraffe as well. I didn't really want to stop for this black rhino because all you can see is its backside. So, backside of a black rhino, ta-da! You really want to see the muddy backside of black rhino. There's usually a second one around here too, so we're going to see if we can see that one a little bit better. Sometimes that one's a bit more shy. You can tell it's a black rhino because A, it's small, B, it has a pointy upper lip, and C, it's by itself. There's a gray dakudu on your right. She's up at the top of the hill. Tell the hill on your right, gray. Looks kind of like a deer, but she's not. There's 3 of them up there. They're all up in the bushes, so there's actually no deer on the entire African continent. Not a single deer. But there are antelopes. The difference: antlers versus horns. Male deer have antlers, and antlers fall off and regrow, fall off and regrow every season. That is how you get deer sheds. Antelopes have horns, which are actually connected to their skull. They do not fall off, and they do not regrow. Plus, antelopes, males and females, can have horns. In the case of the bongos, both males and females have horns. In the case of like sable antelope, both of them have horns. Springbok, Patterson, Zealand, things like that have horns. But like with kudus and waterbuck, only the males have horns. So, following lines. Antlers versus horns. If it has horns, it's an antelope. If it has antlers, it's a deer. But they're all like in the same general like family. Like, you know how like there's humans and primates, like we're in the same like family, but there's like different branches of it, kind of like that, if that makes any sense at all. They're similar, like basically if you take from like their eyeballs down, they're exactly the same. It's antlers versus horns, which is the difference. Greater kudu's are the second tallest antelope in the world, following only the Patterson Zealand. Greater kudu's can stand about 55 inches tall. You are checking out a river I know. It's called the Safari River. Down on your right are 2 Nile hippopotamus, literally in the water. If you can't see those ones though, just make sure we are still sitting down. We'll probably find more on the left side where we can see them significantly better. Hippos are actually some of the largest and most dangerous animals in all of Africa. They're usually behind the island on the left. See, look at that. Oh, that's right. Hippos are some of the largest and most dangerous animals in Africa, not because of what they eat. They are vegetarians. Instead, they're dangerous because of how big they are. They can actually weigh around 5,500 pounds. Their bite is strong enough, it can crush a crocodile. Now, if you notice something kind of weird about the hippos, you're not going to notice this until I point it out, so you're welcome. Their eyes, nose, and ears are all on the top of their head. Now you've noticed it, you'll never unsee it again, you're welcome. It's so that they can poke their heads above the water, see, hear, and smell whatever's going on above them, but they don't have to break their camouflage of a giant rock. They can keep most of their body underwater, just see what's going on, and then go back underwater. They can actually hear as clearly below the water as they can above it, too. So as clearly as you can hear me, all of them can hear me as well. All the gray and white birds you see everywhere are pink-backed pelicans. A group of them is called a pod. The white ones are egrets with the black legs and the yellow beaks. If you see any smaller ones with like a pink kind of bill that looks very like sharp and pointy, kind of like goes down a bit, that would be an ibis, and the black ones are vultures, and the ones that look like ducks are ducks. There you go, pretty easy. Pink-backed pelicans get their name from the dusty rose color that's on their back. A lot of people think it's only there during mating season, but it's there all the time. It just becomes a more obvious color during that mating season. Also on the left would be both a basque and a float of Nile crocodiles. They're a basque if they're on land, and a float if they're underwater. Why do they have 2 names? No, but I think it makes them even cooler. Nile crocodiles are actually inactive like that for the vast majority of the day. It's because, like most reptilian animals, they are cold-blooded, and they need to save their energy for when they eat, which is anywhere between about once a week and once a month or so, depending on how much they eat at once. They can eat about half their body weight in one sitting. They do weigh around 500 pounds, so if you want me to do the math for you, that means they eat around 250 pounds all at once. Takes them a long time to digest, so they usually just kind of lay there. It's like after, you eat holiday meals with your family and you go sit on the couch and like just veg out for a while, kind of like that. As cool as they are, I do think I'm going to take us off here into a different ecosystem, because that means different animals. We are actually heading into the savanna and the Serengeti grasslands. The landscape here allows us to see animals all the way across to the other side. However, to make things easier for everyone, myself as well as you, we are going to talk about the animals as we pass them. So we're going to start with the springbok, they'll move on to the giraffes and the zebras and the wildebeest. So we're going to start with springbok and then kind of cruise on by. It's easier to keep everyone on the same page. So springboks are on the right, the small brown and white animals. This is also not the best view of the giraffes. We should have closer views. There's like 6 or 7 on this reserve. There's actually a couple of calves over there, so we'll worry about those in a minute. Springboks get their name from their incredible ability to jump. They can jump about 6 feet straight up into the air and around 13 feet forward. When they do, it's called pronking, which they do when they get scared or startled. It doesn't happen often, but when they do pronk, it's kind of fun. And a group of giraffes like this one's called a tower. It's because they tower over everything. The adults are around 18 to 20 feet tall. When babies are born, they're around 4 to 6 feet tall as well. Here on the left is a pack of African wild dogs. Everybody always thinks they're hyenas or that they're like hyenas. They're not. They're not even related to them. They're in different families, and they hate each other. It's because they eat the same foods. I mean, if you were eating mac and cheese and someone came over and tried to take your mac and cheese from you, you'd be kind of mad, right? I would be. I love mac and cheese. It's like my favorite food. African wild dogs are also called painted dogs because of their spots. They're some of the most successful and dangerous predators in all of Africa. They're actually more successful at hunting than lions, cheetahs, and hyenas combined. It's because they not only hunt as a group, but because they chase their prey down until their prey falls over from exhaustion. They're around 90% successful. Before we talk about the zebras, the dark brown antelopes way in the corner on your left, follow this road all the way down. Sable antelopes are back there. They are the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. It's because they're a fiercely protective animal, which is our goal here on the reserve. We're working hard to protect the animals, mostly from predators, but also from habitat loss as well. And on the left is a cute little baby zebra foal. As they're eating the other ones up here. But I think we're gonna let mom cross. Baby might cross too, I don't know. We're gonna give it a second. We should be fine. Oh, we gotta get a little closer because mom's feet are in the road. A group of zebras like this one is called a dazzle. Oh, are you gonna go or no? You're gonna stay right there and eat? Okay. You do you. She's so cute. Look at the little baby zebra. Isn't it so sneaking cute? I'm trying to be quiet because I don't want it to like run. Oh, it's so cute. We can go home now. Like that was it. That was the highlight of your safari. I don't know about you guys, but baby animals are like my favorite thing in the entire world. So baby zebras, we're that's good. We can see a baby giraffe and I'm like, okay, done. So baby zebras are called foals, like horses. Those particular species of zebra are the Hartmann's mountain zebras. You can tell because they have thick stripes, but only on their back legs. They also have slightly smaller hooves than the rest of the zebra species because they navigate around a lot of those rocks. No, little baby giraffe, what are you doing? Oh, picking your nose? Okay. She can barely reach into the little snack container there. It's really cute when they're really little and they try to reach into those. And you know they're not going to make it, but they try really, 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 really hard and they're so cute. You're like, thinking cute little baby. So something kind of weird about the way the giraffes walk. You won't notice it until I point it out. So again, you're welcome. They move both of their right legs and both of their left legs at the same time. See? Right legs, left legs, right legs, left legs, right legs, left legs. See? Now you've noticed it. If you think about us humans, we move our right arm and our left leg and our left arm and our right leg, right? That's how we keep our balance. Giraffes, the reason they walk the way they do is to keep their balance. Their proportions are kind of funky. They've got a really small head, big giant neck, big giant body, and long, skinny little legs. So if they walked like we did, they would completely topple over. So by alternating their feet like that, they're able to kind of stay balanced. Which is kind of cool, but kind of weird, because you didn't notice it until I said something, and then one of my friends showed me that, and I was like, oh. And now I never, ever unsee it. I just go like, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. So, it's kind of odd. They're one of the only animals that walks that way. On the top of the hill would be the white-bearded wildebeests, and in the clump of trees on the right are Patterson's eland. White-bearded wildebeests are also called gnus, after the grunting sound they make. They are the second most densely populated animals in the world, second only to us humans. Some of their largest herds can be as large as some of our smaller cities. Nothing like big, like New York or Los Angeles or London or anything like that, but just smaller ones. There's one of those Patterson's eland. He's up there drinking some water. The big giant guy on the right. And then there's a couple smaller ones in there. It looks like maybe a female and then like a younger baby-ish one, or just a younger one. Patterson's eland are the largest antelope species in the world. They can stand about 6 feet at their shoulders. They can weigh around 2,000 pounds. They can jump about 8 feet straight up into the air without a running start. Which means that big guy, he could stand right next to this truck, jump, and touch a canopy directly above your heads. Which is both cool and terrifying. Now, I've never seen him do it, but the only reason, knowing him, that I could see him doing that is to impress the ladies. Out here on the left, by the big circle thing in the middle, is a troop of mandrills. There's quite a few of them there. We'll go really super slow, because there's lots of trees over there. There's a couple of elephants on your right, too. Mandrills are the largest and most vibrantly colored monkeys in the world, with male mandrills weighing up to about 100 pounds. All of them have red and blue noses. Male mandrills, though, they're the only ones that have a blue backside color. More vibrant the color, more dominant the male is going to be. Now, elephants are really, really smart, and they know it's hot outside, so they're going to be kind of hanging out in the shade. That's probably why those two are over there, because it's a nice, shaded spot for them. Their skin is so sensitive that raindrops actually hurt their skin. So you can imagine how hot sunshine is. They typically do sleep in the middle of the day, so it's a bit early for them to be taking a nap, but they could. Adult elephants actually sleep for about 3 hours a day. Younger ones will sleep for around 4 to 5 hours. They can sleep standing up, leaning against each other. They can lean against trees, rocks, or they could literally just fall right over and sleep in the dirt. Usually whatever makes them happy. If they are asleep in the dirt, typically the herd will gather around them, and kind of protect those vulnerable elephants who are laying on the ground. They also have a little bit of dirt and grass on their back to act as a sunscreen. They'll often throw mud up there as well to act as a coolant, but they usually use water for that because they can put around 5 gallons in their trunk all at once. If you look way out on the left, there's actually 3 males here, one really, really huge male and 2 smaller ones. Fully grown males don't live with females. They live by themselves. Once they've reached, there's a better view down here. Once they've reached the mating age of around 15 years old, male elephants are actually kicked out of the herd to live the life of a bachelor. They prefer it, as do females. It's because elephants are a primarily matriarchal species, meaning that they do follow the females, so males are only around for mating season. In this case, he has decided to kind of come and hang out with these young ones. The animal researchers may have done that on purpose, kind of encourage them to get together so he can show them how to be a dude, basically. So those are young males. They do learn from watching those other elephants, like we learned from watching our parents. Same thing for them. But if you notice, that big old guy is walking and we don't hear anything. Literally no sounds at all except the air conditioning in here. That's because the sounds you hear on TV and movies, they're made up. If you didn't believe me. See? He weighs like 12 to 14,000 pounds. And he's 14 feet tall-ish. And literally we hear nothing coming out of him. It's because they walk on their tiptoes and they have this fatty cushion behind their toes that kind of absorbs the sound, but it also helps with their acoustics when hearing each other as well. If you don't believe me, go on Google and type in elephant foot anatomy and you'll actually see the way that their bones are shaped. There's another younger male here. Now the way that they approach the big male, for the most part he doesn't really interact with them too much, but the way they approach him is incredibly important. So he'll interact with them if they approach him properly. This little male's a little bit younger. You can tell if you look at his tail hair. He's got really little tail hair compared to the other smaller male. The big one's dominant just because he's real big and he's older. But if they approach him and they try and challenge him, he will put them in their place. If they approach him and they're very, very respectful towards him, elephants are big on the whole like respect thine elders thing. If they show him the appropriate amount of respect, then he will respond in kind to them. And here on our left is a flamboyance of greater flamingos. If you look immediately on our left, like straight down, there's the baby flamingos. Look at them all. Listen to them squeak.
Oh, they're so cute.
Isn't that adorable? I'm gonna cry. It's so cute.
Okay, that was the highlight. We could go. Aren't they so? I want one. Actually, I want like 3 of them, but I want them to stay babies forever, and they can come and sit in here with me because they're so cute and soft. So adorable. I don't know why baby flamingos are so darn cute. Maybe it's just that it's so fluffy. Like the adult flamingos are cool, but then like you see the cute little fluffy babies, and they're like a little cotton ball with legs, and they're just so cute. For the first week of their lives, baby flamingos, actually rhinos on it, baby flamingos actually have pink legs, and then as they age, their legs will turn black, and then when they're almost fully grown, their legs will actually start turning pink. They haven't eaten enough shrimp to start turning pink. That's what gives them their color until they're about like 2 to 3 years old usually, and then they'll start turning pink. They'll be almost fully grown in size before they develop any kind of pink colors. And then here is that crash of white rhinos on our left. Crash is actually the group name of all 5 rhino species in a row. It's because they've all got really terrible eyesight. Rhinos usually have to be within about 10-ish feet of something to see what it is. They do navigate better through their sense of smell and hearing than their sense of sight. That's why they can move each of their ears independently of one another. There's 3 cheetahs on our left. Despite their eyesight, they can run around 35 miles an hour. Now, I do believe that we've seen 5 in this coalition. 2 are way up on over your left shoulder by that stick house, and then there are 3 in this coalition. There's at least 1 there. One's kind of in the back by the kitty house, and the other one's probably laying around somewhere. That one's a little bit more shy. So there we go. That cheetah's the most easy to see. One laying down. Yellow stick with polka dots. They're the fastest land mammals in the entire world, running at speeds of up to around 65 miles an hour, which they can reach in about 3 seconds. that's the equivalent of most modern sports cars. Line up on your left. Cheetahs can only run that fast for around 30 to 45 seconds. Otherwise, their really small bodies end up overheating. They can reach about 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Lion's on your left, taking a nap, which is what he always does. Right in the middle. Now, the male's mane actually does serve a purpose. It acts as his protection. So, male lions, they're the ones that stay at home, and they'll watch over the pride, territory, and cubs. So he does have to defend the Kopi rocks. There's also a water buck up in the bushes on your right, but she's a little harder to see. We'll see if we can catch a glimpse of her straight through the bushes. She looks a lot like a deer, like almost exactly like one, but again, no deer in Africa. So right around there, they're a bit of a shyer animal. Right as we go by, look on your right, kind of way up in that clearing up there. She's just living her best life. She's brown with a white ring around her backside. Female water buck do not have horns, but male water buck do. Their skin secretes an oil which makes their coats waterproof, but it gives them an unusual odor which helps to deter predators. Anyways, the lionesses are the ones that hunt there. Male just stays behind. So his mane has to be really thick. That way if he's fighting with another lion, they'll just bite into his mane and not into his neck. That's typically why males with bigger manes are seen as more dominant. Lions are also inactive around 16 to 20 hours a day. They're not always sleeping. Most of the time they are, but they could just be resting, relaxing in the shade, whatever it is they want to do. Most of it, though, is spent sleeping. Speaking of sleeping animals, on the left is a sounder of warthogs. There's at least 3. The male is taking a nap by the green rocks, and then there are 2 females, one standing up and one to her right. Warthogs are the largest of all of the burrowing animals. When they go into their burrow, they'll back in so their tusks are sticking out. That way they can be prepared in case any predators try and sneak up on them. They use their curved upper tusks for digging, and their pointed lower tusks they use in self-defense. Also on the right are a couple of bontaboks. They're pretty special because up until about the 20th century, they were poached so badly for their coats, there were less than 20 bontabok left in the entire world. One farmer noticed what was happening to the bontabok, decided that he wanted to try and save them, and he did. He built a gigantic fence around them and basically kept them safe from poachers. In doing so, he saved their entire species. Today, there's over 200,000 of them in the world. So they serve as a beautiful reminder not to underestimate the power of what one person can do. Now here in Magani Glen, there is one and only one animal that lives here, and it's the one on the left. We'll go around the corner and you'll be able to see it significantly better. It is called a scimitar horned oryx. Scimitar horned oryx get their name from the scimitar sword shape of their horns. They can go for periods of up to about 9 months without a single drop of water. It's because their body temperature is about 115 degrees Fahrenheit and they don't sweat. They actually get the majority of the water that they need from the plants they eat. They do typically live in desert ecosystems. So because this oryx lives in Magani Glen where there's tons and tons of water, they don't have to go for those long periods without water, but they can if they need to. They're very, very special to us as well because up until about 2016, the oryx were completely extinct from the wild due to overhunting. And then in 2016, through the help of some really great people and some really great conservation funds, including the Disney Conservation Fund, a group of over 300 was able to be released back into the wild, and in only 4 years, their population is well into the thousands. So they serve as a beautiful reminder of what conservation can do when people work together to help protect those animals. If you'd like to find out more information about the Disney Conservation Fund, like more details about it, the animals they protect, or how you can help them out if you would like to, all you have to do is stop by the merchandise or food and beverage shops, and they can tell you everything you need to know about it, or you can always Google it as well. Now, if you are a wilderness explorer, the name of the truck is Simba 1. That's S-I-M-B-A, like the lion from the movie, and then the number 1. Typically, you can find the badge around page 14 of your books. It's like 1415 or 1314, one of those two. I think it's 1415, but anyway, you can find the badges there. And then you write in the code Simba 1, you draw your favorite animal, and then you go out in front of the safari entrance. There's a white umbrella, literally just out front of the entrance with a wilderness explorer, and they can actually give you that badge out there. You can do that throughout the day, even if, you just write down the code now, and then later you want to get your badge, you're more than welcome to do that too. But they do go to bed a little bit early, around 4 or 5 o'clock, so I'd say do your badges a little bit sooner than later. And anyone can do the badges. I've done them. I am a senior wilderness explorer. Thank you. Which means I've gotten all of my badges. It was quite fun to do, actually. So you get to walk around the park, learn cool things about some of the animals and stuff. So it's kind of fun. And just learn about like bugs and butterflies and like insects. I don't even like bugs, and that was really cool for me to learn. So it's pretty cool, and you can ask those wilderness explorers all kinds of really great questions. They know like everything that there is to know about those animals. So it's super duper wonderful. Now here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye because it is far too sad and far too final. So instead, we prefer the Swahili word kuaharini, which means go well. So kuaharini friends, go well and go well. Enjoy the rest of your day, wherever adventures take you to.
Waharini friends, I'll be back. I think we're going to do Cali River Rapids next. So give me a few to get down there and watch for the next feed. Also, Deb, I know you love the African painted dogs. They were in the beginning of this live feed, so once I get it uploaded, you can go back and watch it and see them. See you in a few, guys.